Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Nordic Championship. Game 1 was an absolute corker, and game number 2 looks to deliver as well, as we have Vipers taking on Team Singularity. Now, Team Singularity, they're out for blood. They lost their spot at the top last week to Vipers, and they want to get it back.
Yeah, they went 0-2 last week, and obviously a big factor was they didn't have their starting AD carry Rai. He is back today. Just in time for this game. If they lose this one against Vipers, they have no chance of making the #1 spot. And critically, Vipers actually have a little bit of a rough matchup in this last week. First, they play Singularity, second best team, and then they play against Nordic. And seeing the form Nordic are currently in, as much as Vipers are a #1 team and should be favourites, it's definitely not an easy matchup, especially with how much is on the line for Nordic. They'll be pulling out all the stops. So this one could be critically important if Vipers want to maintain their #1 spot going into playoffs.
I mean, you can still have a rough week, even if you're like the best team. I mean, we saw Singularity have that last week. Now, obviously, there were different factors at play, but even so, Vipers have some tough teams to fight. And if they can beat them out, not only they put a statement here in the Nordic Championship, but they do put a statement and a real foot forward towards the European Masters, which is obviously what a lot of these teams are playing for. It's not just about being the best in the Nordics. It's about representing the Nordics on a larger stage and at the European Masters.
Yeah, and that's the big thing here is, as well, trying to beat out the team that took you down in the first round robin. Singularity were the only team to beat Vipers other than Bifrost, and as a result, this is a sort of an opportunity for them to get revenge and set things up going into playoffs, because despite the fact that Vipers are the #1 team, they're yet to take a game of Singularity, even though it's only been that one. Just to be able to do that before you go into playoffs can obviously be a big confidence boost going forward. So this can mean a lot, not in just terms of what it means in the standings and also in playoffs, but also in terms of confidence for the teams.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what we've seen so far. So, Vipers, how are they kind of playing? Because obviously they've put themselves all the way to the top. How have they achieved that? What's been their avenue to kind of be the strongest team here in the Nordic Championship?
I think in the early stages, we saw a lot from Poulsen. We saw a lot from DreamHack on kiting champions. Lundorf then made a massive resurgence as a driving force. Hidden has been solid on these sort of more CC-based junglers. But I think now in the most recent weeks, it's been DreamHack on Ezreal, who has just been such a massive factor for this team. Even when things start to look a little bit rough, like the game isn't necessarily going in their direction, DreamHack just pulls it out of nowhere and carries the game almost 1v9 with the support of his teammates.
So, is that bannable then?
I mean, the thing is, it's a contested pick. Rai is also great on the Ezreal, so this could be a hotly contested Ezreal pick. I wouldn't normally ever say this, but a first pick Ezreal wouldn't be outside the realms of possibility. It'd be weird, even for these teams, but I feel like if you don't take it there, Singularity are going to snap it right up.
Well, we'll see as the bans have kicked off. Jungler's already getting targeted out here with the Jarvan and the Skarner banned away. Now, Ezreal just gets banned by Vipers. They decide they don't want to first pick it, so they don't want to give it over to Rai. So they do ban that away. Now, Singularity, maybe they look to kind of ban something else out here. We know DreamHack's enjoyed things like the Varus, as the Ornn is going to be the ban here, and you kind of expect the last ban from the side of Singularity to be Hidden's Nunu.
Potentially. Honestly, I feel like you can play against it, but if you're really looking to target Hidden, you can take that one away as well. I do like the Ezreal ban, though, because like I said, it's weird to first pick that champion when you don't know the matchup. I feel like on red side, Singularity are in a much better position to take it. So I think banning away makes sense for Vipers in terms of what they can secure. They're going to ban away the Olaf from Scoot, so denying a couple of junglers from him as well. This leaves that other trio of AD carries up and available. Syndra is still an option for Poulsen, and he has been an absolute monster on this champion. They're going to ban away the Senna. That means Misfortune Aphelios available for trading. I would just take Syndra in this situation.
Yeah, I feel like Syndra's a fantastic pick here for Poulsen and for the rest of Vipers. We'll see what they decide to go for here. You feel like if that doesn't get picked up now, though, Krogson will take it. Krogson loves champions like the Syndra. And very much, if it's open and his current strength, it's in his wheelhouse, he will take it. So Vipers are in this clock down a little bit more, but that's going to be that Syndra lock-in. And now Singularity, you expect to see something like the Aphelios or the MF locked in now.
You get your choice on the matchup is the essential thing. You get to factor in which one you want. Typically, if you don't want to reveal much, you can put the support pick in this situation. Jungle also works, say if you want Lee Sin for Scoot. But we will see. There's a lot of options for Singularity. They're not forced to take the AD carry right now, though. If they want to prioritize other power picks like the set, Remember, this is on 10.5, so set nerfed again this patch, a little bit weaker, but still strong enough to get picked at high priority. And then we see the Misfortune come in for Rise. So Vipers, they can take the Aphelios in this situation. They can take a support to pair it up with if they want. Obviously, they don't know the matchup into Singularity, but there's also always the concern that if you don't take the Braum or Tom here, it'll get banned away. And those are the main supports you see paired with the Aphelios.
It looks like he's actually opting into something I hit on him a little bit ago. He likes this Varus. Now, what are they going to pair it up with here? The moment toying with going for the kind of hyper carry, just put all your eggs in the Denvoxney basket. We'll see what they decide to lock in though. So they are once again kind of running down this clock, thinking everything through as it is just kind of flashing a few things there as they do actually look to lock in the Nunu. No. Man, that's the longest 0 seconds ever.
Yeah, Gangplank makes sense for Lundorf. It's the pick I'd say he's had the most success on. Really handed it to Coincidence in the game against him when Coincidence was on Rise. So it makes a lot of sense. And we have 3 staple carries. We have the early pressure and priority from Poulsen. We have a great early game carry with Engage from Denvoxney. And then in the side lane, we have that the Gangplank can obviously play weak side and assist the team. Singularity quickly going to pick up the Bard for Vayu, something that is very much in his wheelhouse, a bit of a specialty pick. It does mean that there's a lot of early pressure coming out from this bot lane in the 2v2. And the trading power is going to be extremely strong. And now they can ban away champions that they are concerned about dealing with when up against the Varus. Blitzcrank, one of the ones that can punish you. Yes, you can trade with your range, but if you get rocket grabbed in, you're going to have a bad time.
Alrighty, well, Vipers now, they're looking to ban away. We expect it to be these kind of mid laners, the likes of the LeBlanc, the likes of the Zoe taken away. Obviously, Crookston may be a little less kind of comfortable taking things like that LeBlanc, but it's still solid into the Syndra, so maybe we'll see them ban out.
I would typically expect to see Croxton play Azir in this situation up against the Syndra. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see that banned away. Looking towards a jungler instead, though. Nidalee taken down, Lee Sin could be an option. Kindred also something that Scrooge shown he will play, and that could be a very strong pick in this situation when paired up with the Misfortune. You can obviously offer that as an element of protection. I guess we will see. Singularity could ban away the Thresh if they really want to limit that, but there's still Nautilus, Leona. There's a lot of picks that can be paired up with the Varus. And in the end, they go for the Nunu to deny away from Hidden. So obviously there are a lot of picks still available as a possibility to pair up. They'd rather throw a ban towards the jungler. So sort of limit Hidden's pool more. He still has the Elise, which he's played a lot of throughout the split, or at least he would have if it hadn't been banned so much.
Although last time we saw him on the lease, it really wasn't a solid performance by him. This is one of the big criticisms we had. That game was all about Denvoxney turning that game around. As Scoot gets another farming jungler taken away from him, the Karthus denied. And now the junglers have been really, really pinched in this game. There's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jungle bans. I think 10 bans this game.
You just take your mid lane here for Krogson. Typically, we expect the Azir from him in this situation. It's his sort of go-to, especially when he's playing against a Syndra who he does outrange. And then they're actually going to go for Scoot's pick and get the Sejuani. So want to secure that and have higher priority. Goes really well with Nilly on the set, because obviously you have the ability to stack up your passive quickly with the 1-2 punch and all that CC available. Means they can leave their mid lane pick till late and see how the comp sort of evolves out. Now for Hidden, at least there's a sort of standout one we expect, but they could go in a different direction. Gragas is actually flown through the bans despite everything. I think that would be pretty solid in this situation. It can interrupt the bullet time from the Misfortune. Now the downside of this pick is that we have seen we saw a game that wasn't really optimal coming out from Hidden on this Gragas. He got punished massively hard by Shackle, I believe. So not his most convincing champion, but definitely strong given the circumstances. And now we see the support pick for Bebop Bully. So potentially could look for something with a lot of engage. Braum is the standard one to pair up with the Varus, but it's not as good as some other champions at punishing range champions. You know, you're not a Blitzcrank, you're not a Thresh. Yes, if they're playing into the Varus, he's great at sort of providing that concussive blows passive, but ultimately you can't provide that instant hard CC to punish a bard who's getting up in your face.
Alrighty, now over to Singularity. They're looking towards a mid laner for Crocs, and like you said, that Azir is something he typically picks up in these scenarios, and we'll see what he decides to go for here, as he's actually looking in the Vel'Koz. A lot of team fighting tools available with the Life Form Disintegration Ray and that bullet time available. you can really start to melt through some of these immobile carries. But obviously, the Unbreakable is going to be able to shut down like a big chunk of that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't work against Lifeform Disintegration Ray is the factor, but does work against the Bullet Time. But the critical thing for me, why I feel like it's a little bit weird to be picking the Vel'Koz here instead of the Azir, is you're against a Gragas and a GP. Both of those ultimates make your life, I mean, even the Braum as well. All three of those ultimates make your life very difficult to stand still and channel something, because the Gragas ult, the Braum ult will both interrupt you, as does the Scatter the Weak, and then GP can just throw his ult down, and often, just because of how much damage it does over time, you have to move. And I think Azir, having the mobility afforded in his kit, is in a much better situation to handle that than a Vel'Koz is. But clearly this is something that Krogson wants to play, less so about his own safety, because it is a lot less safe than the Azir, and more so around punishing the enemy carries, because we've seen how good Denvoxne can be at carrying. If he's playing up against a Vel'Koz and he just starts channeling an R on him, he's going to get chunked out, he's going to be slowed, and it's very easy for the team of Singularity to follow up on that.
Seeing Paulson's running the phase rush, not the electrocute on the Syndra as well. So obviously wants to be able to kind of move around, kind of dodge out on what Scoot's going to be throwing at him. Everyone else is pretty much standard, stock standard stuff really here. But this game has been one I've been waiting for a little while now. Obviously, these two teams have been constantly battling out and chasing each other first place. Vipers have always been on the tails of Singularity. And last week was their opportunity. They shot past and they got 2 points ahead of them. And now, Singularity really have to start pulling this back. And if they can get a win here, that's a solid start for them, depending on what happens tomorrow as well for Vipers as they're taking on Nordic. Maybe they can get their spot back. But had to have a quick pause just as the game started up, so hopefully it won't be too long on that one.
So, something to note, on 10.5, Exhaust got buffed in our last 3 seconds. So we've seen a lot more people picking it up, even sometimes 80 carries taking it instead of heal. And I think the critical thing in this situation is we are seeing Denvoxne has gone heal, Bebop Bully has gone exhaust, but on the opposite side, Rai has gone cleanse, and Vayu has gone ignite. And to me, that seems like the counter summoner spells. So ignite is a counter to heal, because obviously the Grievous Wounds reduces the healing available and the impact of that spell. And then cleanse counters exhaust, because obviously everyone knows you can use cleanse to remove CC, but cleanse also removes summoner spells. So you can essentially just dispel that exhaust from you. So in a skirmish, in a straight up fight, I feel like as a result of that, Singularity have an edge because they can use those. Obviously, a big factor can be Bebop Bully can layer it. So he uses his stun, it gets cleansed by Rai, and then he exhausts, although the duration still is reduced, I believe, from the cleanse. Reduces duration. No, it just reduces duration of disables by 65%. So
yeah.
It'll be a full exhaust timing. So that could actually be a critical factor in the bot lane, is if Rai times his cleanse. The higher priority, I feel like, is the exhaust rather than the stun available.
Well, we take to the Rift as the two strongest teams here in the Nordic Championship will be going head-to-head. Vipers lost this the last time these teams met up, and they're looking to equalize out the score, not only for the tiebreakers, but also for pride.
Absolutely, and the big factor is going to be Vipers yet to beat Singularity. They may hold that #1 spot, but they wouldn't feel comfortable ending the split without 1 point on the board against their second place team, who, based on current situations, you'd expect them to meet in the finals, although I very much say that's not a definite.
It's really hard to call, actually, because we've seen so many teams on an upward trend. Nordic being one of those teams. So it's very much
Dusty
up in the
as
air.
well, I think.
Dusty as well,
Holding
yeah.
third place. That's a tough match for anyone who goes up against them. And that's why it's even more critical that you get this first place spot, because Dusty are on the heels of whoever gets knocked down to second. And I think at the moment, Dusty are currently fans of Vipers, because if Vipers win this, then they have a better chance to catch up with Singularity, potentially get that second place spot, which doesn't change who they're playing, but does change their side selection, which is a big factor.
All right, well, everybody is taken to the Rift, as it looks like Singularity may be looking for a little bit of something cheesy here. Cosmic Binding will be really detrimental as they find themselves the stun. Bebop going to take some serious damage, gets ignited as well.
Bin is heal, so already chunked out, already low. Really good trade from Singularity. And Bard is one of the champions, is one of the best level ones in the game. Can land that stun on potentially 2 members, but it does last a long time. And then critically, the empowered auto attack damage. Easy to proc electrocute and just does so much in the early levels. London in a bit of trouble. Does have Corrupting Potion to heal up again. But that level 2 advantage. Putting some hit down. And already we've seen from the early laning phase, Singularity are holding no punches.
Yeah, Singularity are really here to play right now. They are mad about last week, going 0-2. And they are back formidable as ever. Top and bot lane, already pulling out big advantages in trading. And you can see Lundorf is starting to pay the price a little bit here in the CS lead, but is getting the wave pushed into him. And now Nilly does have to be a little careful, kind of playing with fire. These pineapples can do a lot of damage, especially with their trial by fire resetting on them. Scood's going for an invade, looking for maybe a pick onto Hidden. He thinks that Hidden isn't about, and Hidden smells something up actually, so he walks away from his wolves.
I think he's just pathing up as he's clearing them. I don't think he gets there in time. He should be able to get it low enough to spite, and he's just going to find his blue. The critical thing is whether he sees him or not.
Oh, he might know he's done that.
Well, he sees him now. I think you would assume, based on how bot lane didn't leash, that this is your blue. But I guess not, because he could have just body slammed over to go and head towards the Gromp. But ultimately, this has been denied.
Neither of his side lanes are really set up for him to contest this as well.
Now, that's actually critical as well. He got the scuttle, so Hidden had smite advantage, but because Nilly had priority, Hidden was unable to contest that one.
Krogson also had priority as well, so there was no way anyone was roaming to help Hidden there.
And I think the decision was made because he went over to the blue, he saw the blue was gone, he will assume that Scoot smited it to clear it that fast, and he's like, right, I can steal this scuttle away with my smite. Then he saw he wasn't going to get any assistance, so he instantly has to back away. And this is a pretty big hit to the early game of Hidden already. You can see Scoot going to double scuttle crab him, heading over to the bot side to grab that one, and then he can continue clearing through his blue side jungle and get a refresh on that blue buff, or potentially even hand it over to Krogson if he's feeling very generous. But for now, he's looking bot lane. They might look to dive this as early as level 3.
Remember that exhaust is still available. The heal down for Denvoxney. Denvoxney a little low on mana. Wave pushing in, and now Vayu, level 4, has to find a good cosmic binding. Denvox needs to flash, but he's not going to get it off in time, and that's first blood to Rai. Bebop's trying to buy some time. The exhaust is enough not to find the shutdown. It's a double kill picked up, and Paulson too slow. That's
so rough as well as that Paulson moved. So if we look mid lane, we can actually see that a big wave has been crushed in. It's not huge, but he's missing out on that CS. He's now about 9 behind Krogson. Krogson gets a beautiful reset timing, and that's on top of the fact that we saw that double kill come in bot lane and all that farm missed. Beautiful play coming out from Singularity, and Scoot, perfect timing to execute on that dive. He knew that Hidden was on the top side of the map because you just seen him, and he managed to find a good route down and put a massive lead onto Rai. BF sword double Doran's compared to Doran's double longsword is a massive discrepancy in a situation where Denvoxney was already struggling because he does not win the trades against his bot lane. He only wins if they can start to apply the Braum passive and all in, and at this point, that's not going to be possible.
Nilly really looking to turn to form as well. Trying to take over this top side of the map, pushing Lundorf in. Then Voxy walks back to lane, takes a cosmic binding, takes a little bit of poke here. The Guardian shield, he's okay though.
He's just doing so much work on this Bard.
Look at the damage he's doing here. Bebop is just getting chunked. Now Hidden wants to try and see if he can make a gank happen. Has to try and find some kind of a turnaround. There's a bit of a shutdown available to Rai. Already, though, they find themselves some damage off, and Bebop's trying to buy some space, but Scoot's coming forward. The cannon barrage has been used in the flash out by Vayu. Hidden's been ignited. They've got a magical journey to follow. This will be the end of Bebop. No, he has to flash away. Nilly's stepping forward. He has that showstopper. Denvoxney only level 4.
Yeah, and a fail flash from Scoot means they don't even find Bebop Bully. And the fact that they burn the TP from Nilly, it's actually going to give a pretty big advantage. Oh, this can get stopped. Oh, Paulson was right next to Krogson as he TP'd. If he scattered the weak there, could have been really important. Would have essentially secured a plate, if not 2. Actually, Lundorf already got 1 plate. Probably could have secured a second and denied a lot of farm. But ultimately, Paulson doesn't stop.
Very low here. If Hidden finds him, he might be able to kill him. Smite's available, though. And Scoot has to use the Arctic Assault to put some distance there.
No flash available, but no one really in a position to punish.
And Hidden's just really not kind of reading Scoot very well this game at all, unfortunately.
No, he got his blue stolen away. He lost both scuttles. He loses a dragon in this situation. His gank bot was the one that was answered by Scoot. And yes, it ended up being favorable for Vipers because no one died and they burnt the TP of Nilly. But still, definitely, Scoot shown his prowess in this jungle matchup so far.
Lundorf just not going to catch this wave. He is doing a good job of pulling back, obviously, with the fact he didn't teleport.
See that crit?
Just gets chunked.
Just MF things.
Oh, my lord.
257 damage, double up at level 5.
They're looking for a gank, but they're on a ward.
Yeah,
so
I think
Singularity can't Singularity is step back. There is no answer here from Vipers, and Lundorf will push this wave into St. Nilly.
I think Hidden not being level 6 was the critical thing there. No cannon barrage available as well. If you had the explosive cask and the cannon barrage available, they were dead, 100%. No flashes, they're down, but without those available, they're able to walk it off. But a good reset comes in for Denvoxnate and Bebop Bully. And they are heading up towards the top side of the map to contest this scuttle, but already Scooter's started it. Now, he may well be able to get this and get out before they actually climb over.
It's a little slow at the moment, and the lane swap's already coming out, but Crogson's making his way over to make sure Scoot is nice and safe, and Scoot is just a step ahead of Hidden this entire game. And this was still, we had our kind of comment, I wouldn't say comments, that's probably the wrong one. We had our criticisms of Hidden in last week on his Elise game, where it was very similar to this. Like, he wasn't able to pull too much off. Paulson does dodge away on the Cosmic Binding and on the Q from Krogson.
We actually saw an engage come in onto Scoot. Scoot extremely low, had to flash away. The explosive cask and the glacial prison was used in that situation. Scoot does get a herald and get away. Hidden, again, not reading things well. He cleared up towards topside. He didn't run straight to the herald to contest. He cleared his wolves first, and as a result, Scoot is able to escape once more. Just a rough game for the jungler Vipers so far. 1,000 gold down and the dragon compared to Singularity.
We are seeing Lundorf is just not teleporting. He's quite happy just farming plates and towers, and he's pulling himself ahead of Nilly due to it because, like you said, melee champions do extra damage to these towers. He's getting the additional gold since the changes. And now a push starting out here from Vipers towards his top side. Scoot is making his way over, but that's 2 plates gifted over. It's Paulson looking to see if he can find something onto Krogson. He's able to step away though.
Scoot now in the vicinity, and I think Denvoxnate has to be a little bit careful. The glacial prison is down, unavailable.
Also see if Hidden was in the wings, as Nilly's actually been caught out by the cannon barrage here, using that showstopper just to put some distance in. One more Q by Lundorf is fairly big as the unleashed power lands onto Krogson. Vipers now starting to get aggressive, trying to force these plays with the ultimates. Krogson gets chunked. Pulsar's quite happy, still got that blue buff though. A little bit additional cooldown to work with, cooldown reduction, and also doesn't really mind burning the mana. Scoot looking to try and drop the Herald topside here onto Ryan Bebop. He is going to place it, and actually, it looks like Lundorf may be able to find something, actually turning it back around with a fancy feet, dodging out the Q. Enough Lundorf! Fancy dancing like a god there. Rift Herald's being used, and now members from Vipers are closing up towards this top side. Cannon Barrage not available, so they will just lose a few plates, but they're not going to lose anything else here, as maybe Scoot's going to lose his life, getting himself caught out. The cask is well placed into the chains, into the damage. Hidden finally finds his revenge and gets the kill. Lundorf is going to find a plate, but the Life Form Disintegration Ray will melt him. Krogson shutting him down.
Yeah, no way you're getting away from that one, but ultimately, really nice roam from both mid laners to capitalize on these plays. Lundorf finds that 1v1. I was going to say, when he used his ult and flash against Nilly, just to get him low and not get the kill, that was a little bit of an overstep, more costly for himself, but then Nilly tries to turn it around on a tower, and as you said, beautiful mechanics, beautiful sidestepping to avoid the haymaker and find that one, because it was extremely close.
And that has put the Gangplank in a fantastic spot over Nilly. You can see the items that are coming in here is a Phage and double daggers into all of your components for your Triforce for Lundorf. So he's 330 gold off finishing that item, which is the first major spike for the Gangplank. And being that far ahead of Nilly now is going to be really, really nice for him. He's gotten so many solo plates for himself as well. He's got 3 in the bot side. He got 1 up top lane as well. He is very happy with the state of this. Now, Cloud Drake is getting started up here. Bebop has spotted out the whole team, and teleport is available to Lundorf if they want to contest, but it looks like Vipers are quite happy just giving up this dragon. They don't care. It's only the second one. It's only a Cloud Drake.
Yeah, second is not the most impactful. You don't really want to prioritize that. We are going to see an Ocean Soul map. So I feel like the Ocean Soul, extremely favorable for Singularity. If they can get it, Nilly and Scood benefiting massively, being super tanky and also getting that regen to make them extremely hard to take down. But ultimately, we're a long way away from that, and Vipers have to trade it. And actually, Lundorf, like I said, melee champions increase damage to towers this patch. He's really hitting this one.
Yeah, he's actually going to get showstoppered back in. He does not have the orange available as he gets a Haymaker out there. Movement speed buff from the Phage, plus with the barrel, is enough to get him out. That was nice.
It was close for a second, but ultimately gets a plate, gets out. The tower extremely low. Now the question is he going to TP back in to defend
they use the cannon barrage, they use the flash, they use everything. The cask is layered. Teleport's coming down, and now Hidden's going to get himself some damage put into Ray. Denvoxley stepping forward, gets pulled in with a face breaker. The Haymaker's going to get used, and Bebop buying some space for his team. Lundorf joins into the fray, gets knocked up, eats a tangerine, and the pineapple gets popped. Now a lot of damage being used as they use that bullet time, interrupted by the Glacial Fissure. The Haymaker's not going to find his mark, and Bebop is popped. Krogson finds the damage as Scoot is getting chunked out by Paulson in the mid lane. Great team fight there for Singularity.
Yeah, they managed to turn it around. Vio goes down almost instantly from an engage from Denvoxley, but ultimately the recourse is there. And then Lundorf TP's down just for another member to die. In all honesty, I feel like it probably would have been better for him just to stay top lane, get the tower, or even recall TP top, get the tower, and say, look, guys, the fight's over. You can back away. You can disengage from the situation. But ultimately, they end up staying for longer and losing out in that one. So now, Krogson and Rai both 2-0, got some kills under their belt, which means they are going to get more gold than they would have otherwise. And with platings now going down, a lot of that extra gold you saw Vipers pick up from those no longer going to be on the table.
Lundorf looking for something onto Rai. Doesn't have that cannon barrage quite yet, but he just wants the wave. As Bebop has to use the stand aside to stand away. Krogson really putting some hurt in now. 2-0 on the Vel'Koz. It's Paulson rocking the GLP versus the Luden's Echo. So obviously can land his Scatter of the Week a bit easier due to that, but...
Easy to proc phase rush as well, because the GLP counts as an activation for it.
Oh, hidden flash.
Yeah, good ult coming out from Via to catch him, but Lundorf going to get this first
actually an animal right now. This man is just split pushing like a demon. And like you said, it was a comfort pick from him as one of the best performing champions for Lundorf, and we're really seeing that come to fruition here. He's almost taken the turret top side. He chunks out the turret bot side and then finishes it off later. And now it looks like there is going to be a slight answer top side here for Singularity. They're looking to try and take top lane, but can Vipers answer in time? Denvoxley's going to step forward. He should actually be able to clear out this wave, although Rice doing some serious damage, so no, he can't. Denvoxley unable to answer out. And now they find themselves some damage onto Krogson. Ultimate goes wide and Hidden has to go golden. The cannon barrage is being used. Hidden's trying to dodge away as Lundorf flashes forward for the barrel chain. Krogson will burn down to the trial by fire as Hidden holds his life. The unleashed power onto Scood as he has to flash over the wall. Vipers find their pick and somehow Hidden lives.
Oh, I just love watching Lundorf play. Every time he looks for the mechanical outplay, he looks for the flashy stuff, and he often finds it. Flashes in to secure the triple barrel chain, punishing Krogson, and Scood having to flash away to get out of that one. Lundorf looking like a monster right now.
Tower's very low top side as well here for the side of Vipers. So sure, they lost their top lane tower, but they can answer out and get some more gold for themselves as the gold still very close between these teams. No one's taking a significant lead yet. With this Ocean Drake spawning up, you expect this to be the kind of major point to fight around. Blade the Ruined King finished up onto Denvoxley. He wants to hit that Rage Blade to hit his kind of 2-item spike on the Varus. So he's not going to have that in time for the Drake, but he at least has his first item. Base comes through for Rai. He picks himself up his attack speed, boots, and a crit cloak.
Dragon, the priority right now. 20 seconds, and this one secured for Singularity would mean Soul Point, so could likely see both teams trying to contest. Critical thing is Lundorf is top side with no TP, but Nilly is as well. And Lundorf having priority means he can now move down to help contest this one. Vipers don't want to give this up. They don't want the Dragon Soul to be a win condition for Singularity. Will Singularity be able to stop them?
And one of the nice things is with that turret being down already, it means they can push the wave in deep bot side. So Rai has to go and answer that before it can get pushed in. Now, they actually might just find something onto Pulsar here. Showstopper's going to get used, and he is melted through. Lundorf trying to dodge away as Krogson's getting chunked out for the moment. The team fight is on. Denvoxney gone golden for the moment. He's just to try and get some distance away. Throws out the chains. He's kiting away. Vayu is going to live as the bullet time is enough to find the kill. Bebop flashes away. Nilly comes in forward where Haymaker finds the kill. Doesn't find that ultimate from Lundorf. Can't quite find the kill. The health bars are low. The Vipers crucially lose the team fight, and this will be Ocean Soul Point.
Just a huge rotation coming out from Nilly. He finds the engage on a Pulsar, and the rest of the team look to collapse. They punish them. They get a gold lead once again. They should be able to translate this into bot lane tower, and they're picking up that third dragon. They're now on Soul Point, threatening that Ocean Soul in 5 minutes if Vipers are unable to stop it. And now that they're 2,000 gold down, it's looking a little bit rough.
18 minutes on the clock. Gold lead is now swung in favor of Singularity. It really started with Polson getting picked off by Krogson in the mid lane, just not in the right position while his team were trying to contest the dragon.
Not respecting the rotation coming out from Nilly, because obviously Lundorf moved down, but Lundorf is a lot less threatening instantaneously. Despite the fact he's up in gold thanks to those plates, despite the fact that the gangplank is super strong, it's Nilly who can flash on you, instantly pop that CC chain, and there isn't always much you can do against it.
Scoot's looking to walk in here to find himself the GLP. Scoot gets caught out momentarily as Nilly charging in forwards. This should just be the end of the Rift Herald. It's been picked up, but no one's able to answer out. Bebop puts up the Unbreakables. The scatter lands onto a couple of members. The Unleashed power gets blocked out by Nilly's Haymaker, and Vipers unable to get themselves onto the Herald here. Ultimate does connect, and Bebop gets taken down. The bullet time's enough. Paulson greeting. Haymaker not going to find his mark as Paulson gets another scatter of the week off here momentarily. They haven't been able to pick up the Herald, though. Vipers do keep their mid laner alive this time, but Rai's closing in. He's looking for the bullet time, and Rai gets himself caught out, but he's able to live momentarily. The arrow comes down, and Den is putting that damage out. The chain's looking to spread. Den finds himself one. Got himself a double kill already. Scoot's coming in. They got the teleport. Den's flashing away. He's kiting the team. Showstopper is buying space as Nilly's trying to find himself the ultimate Haymaker. He gets that damage down, and Lundorf throws out the cannon barrage, chasing in for more. Scoot's jumping in forward. Jumps away once again from Lundorf. He's in the midst of two, and Krogson's closing in, but that's the shutdown for Lundorf. Bebop's jumping in forward, and Nilly is able to get away. Scoot lives, and Lundorf crucially able to get away with a sliver of health.
And a messy fight comes out. Vipers get the Herald, unable to pick it up though, and capitalize on that, and they end up overstaying trying to do so. Ultimately, Paulson survives for such a long time. Rai oversteps at the end, flashing in, and Denvoxney and Lundorf are critical in the cleanup. But the end result of it is that Singularity are still 2,000 up in gold. They're heading kills, they're heading dragons, and no Herald for Vipers to try and capitalize on. So a big win for Singularity once again. Now, Baron is up and available, but it's pretty early for it right now. But what I feel is going to be the next objective is that Dragon Soul that comes up in a couple of minutes, and then whichever team wins that fight could well transition straight into a Baron.
We've seen Denvoxney is actually building towards the Hurricane as his next item, so not going in for the Rageblade second.
I think because the amount of frontline he's currently hitting with the Sejuani and the... what's its name, set. So with them all being sort of clumped up together, trying to get on top of him, and he's kiting. In a lot of these situations, he could be hitting multiple people with the Runan. So I think it makes sense. Allows him to do that AoE damage, spread the blight stacks, and so if he can get a big hail of arrows or a piercing arrow, then he can capitalize on it pretty heavily.
Well, this will be the end of the mid lane turret here. Singularity get their third. Vipers unable to answer out here as the cannon minion is going to survive, so they can get a little bit of bonus damage off there. Rai's going to get 2 auto attacks out. Voxney's now basing. He'll have enough for his Hurricane on this base, and he'll look to join the team.
The critical thing here is because that mid lane tower is down, they're able to push into the second one, then rotate through that brush, this one here, just next to the Raptors, and clear out all this vision in the red side jungle.
Looking for Poulsen. He's able to use the sidestep, uses the GLP. A lot gets used, and that's already the kill. Massive channel, the bullet time by Rai here. Lundorf looks to try and collapse in, but he's the one actually getting chunked out by Rai. Rai doing some serious work now.
And it's a great pick. Poulsen does have teleport, so he will be up in time for the dragon fight, but they're now in a 4v5 situation. So all that vision that's been secured in the red side jungle towards that dragon is going to be extremely hard to contest. They want to push in for the soul, but they're getting challenged already.
They're looking for Voxney. He looks to get caught out here. The pop is going to be used, and actually Voxney finds himself a double kill. How did he live through that? Lundorf eats the tangerine, trying to dodge away the Dancy feet. Oh my lord, the teleport's being used, and Vipers, they are not done. They're looking for Poulsen. Poulsen is going to get a scat of the week off into the GLP. He finds his shutdown. Nilly's being kited. They use the showstopper onto him, but the unleashed power is being used. Lundorf is going to heal up once again with the orange. And oh my lord, Vipers, what a fight.
Voxney coming up huge there, kiting away on the Varus. The Runans finish just in time. They're now going to turn onto the Baron. Scoot alive with Flash, but no members in a position to back it up. And this could be it. Vipers able to deny the Dragon Soul just when they needed it. It was looking rough with the pick on a Poulsen, but you can never discount Voxney. Even when he's on low HP, he will always look to maximize his damage. He ends up turning it around, and on a fraction of health, survives.
The hyperbolic time chamber of demise in the UKLC for Voxney as he returns here looking absolutely incredible this split. He has been one of the standout AD carries here in the Nordic Championship.
This is why Varus works so well for him, especially when he's playing Varus Braum. You stick Voxney on a backline and he will just kite to his heart's content. You throw anything at him and he will do his absolute best to keep pumping out consistent damage, and that is what he's delivered on consistently this split. He has Poulsen to play aggressively, he has Lundorf to be that cleanup on the gangplank, but his Varus is just a force to be reckoned with. And if he is not dead, if there is not a timer on his face saying he is out of the game right now, he is always relevant at whatever HP he has going for him.
He's got himself another Vamp Scepter as well, so just kind of foregoing the Rage Blade at all. And he might just be going for that second Bloodthirster, similar to what we saw on his Ezreal, where he just played to be a real nuisance, actually throwing out the chains. A lot of ultis used, but Rai actually able to dodge away on the Scat of the Week. And now Singularity, they do throw out the Glacial Prison. Does connect onto Hidden, but not the target they wanted. A lot of ultimates burnt there for nothing really gained, as once again Rai is stepping forward.
They got the flash from Rai, and as much as it looked a bit, very whiffed and missing all the ultimates, they will come off a lot sooner than that flash does for the Misfortune, and it makes it potentially vulnerable in that current situation. But Lundorf potentially caught out right now. They know he's here. I believe that didn't actually
They do, yeah, they know he's here.
There, yeah. So
Lundorf in the middle of free. He's going to get a lot of damage off here, but he gets caught out, uses that Tangerine.
Pings are coming out on Baron.
Yeah, the rest of the team are just going for Baron. They're looking for a kill, but they can't find it onto Krogson. Meanwhile, Lundorf does get shut down.
Yeah, I think they wanted to look for Baron, but they were concerned about the fact that Sejuani is still up, a threatening smite. They try and look for a fight, but ultimately aren't able to find it in the mid lane. Hidden actually burning his flash in that situation, despite being 4v2 and the aggressors. And this now means that Singularity have a numbers advantage. They can start to clear out more of this vision towards the Baron. Nilly is alone in the bot lane and should be able to put some damage onto this tower if no one responds. Singularity still ahead in gold, still ahead in dragons. I feel like this game, that's been the story. Singularity having that lead. The Vipers showing that they're not giving up without a fight. All coming down from Krogson.
Yeah, Den's able to dodge that one away. The tower does go down, and Den lives once again. Did burn his flash that time, though.
That's a critical summon to be down. Both AD carries flashless, with Baron potentially on the cards coming out from a one fight. It's 3,000 gold lead for Singularity, and we can look at the individual numbers. You can see that the significant advantages in the mid and AD carry role, jungle as well, in the favor of Singularity. It's almost 2,000 between mid laners, 1,300 between junglers, only 800 between AD carries. So it's only top lane where Lundorf is really holding his own to sort of keep that gold lead smaller than it would be otherwise.
Looks like Denvoxney building towards most likely a QSS at this point, I would assume. Wants the ability to be able to kite out and kind of remove the CC on him.
Yeah, if you're hit by some critical hard CC, if the set manages to land something or the Glacial Prison, doesn't matter how good at kiting you are when you're stunned and you're forced to stand still and not auto-attack. So ultimately, a good buy. Oh, that's rough. We all saw that kind of get missed.
He should be close to it at this point. I didn't see if he actually put the new Magic Mantle on his base. No, he didn't.
I think
he's actually just going Bloodthirster. Okay.
Where did you get this QSS theory from?
Well, I just assumed because he's playing into like the Sejuani and stuff. Like
all to make assumptions, right? Denvoxney is a lifesteal connoisseur.
He really is. Like the 78% lifesteal Ezreal you ran.
Yeah, it's, you know, it doesn't matter how much damage I do and if I can just out-heal it. Right now, I'm not sure what runes he has, but he has 32 lifesteal from items alone, and he does have the Bloodline rune as well.
Yeah, I'm assuming he probably has Ravenous Hunter in there as well at something.
He's running on 43.4. It's weird to see the Bloodline on the sort of attack speed Varus. Typically, you go attack speed as...
Oh, you can see, actually, he's running Nimbus Cloak and Gathering Storm as his...
Typically, you see the Legend, the attack speed one. I'm not sure what it's called, but...
Electricity or... Alacrity.
Yeah, so typically you see that when your first items play the Rune King to make up for the lifesteal, whereas crit 80 carries, like Rai, who go full crit, get the lifesteal and the runes, but Denvoxney very much a lifesteal connoisseur, and now we're seeing the posturing come out for this dragon that has spawned. Again, it's Soul for Singularity they can secure. Viper's that positioning.
Level 16. Vi's found Denvoxney. They're trying to buy him some space, buy him some time. Den jumping away. The Unleashed Power's been thrown down. And look at the damage Denvoxney's going to be able to do. He gets pinned in place, though. All of the CC's layered onto him. And Den is still kiting inside the pit. 1 versus 3. He's going so low. Everything gets used onto him. The barrel's there by Lundorf. He's going to get a 3-man barrel off, but he is already chunked low. Slowed down. Pulsar's buying some space, though, for his team. Trying to find that more damage. Lundorf able to heal up, but gets knocked up as he is running away. The flash gets used. A double kill is picked up, and Paulson now, he's the only one standing. Vayu not going to take that magical journey because it would be his demise without the rest of his team. Paulson is going to die. Vipers looked for the play, looked for the fight, and ultimately they lost. Paulson is just buying time for his team. It's a delayed ace for Singularity, and they will get Soul.
Critical thing is Vipers did buy time thanks to Paulson, so the Baron won't be the instant reward, but ultimately Singularity get everything they want in that fight. Denvoxney tried to do as much as he could, but he was trapped in the pit without a flash against all of Singularity.
If he had QSS, he might have not taken so much free damage early. He was doomed anyway. He had no flash.
He needed a flash.
He had no flash.
He needed a flash, or he needed Vayu to give him a magical journey out the pit. That was the only situation I saw him getting out of that, which wouldn't exactly be a great one. He's quickly picked up the Executioner's Calling, because as you said, Singularity picking up that Ocean Soul. Those tanks, when we look at Nilly and Scoot and how hard they are to kill.
Hidden, you are kind of dead.
Not sure what you were doing there, Chief.
Oh, he was giving Baron over to the side of Singularity. That's what he was doing.
Trying to check it and decided to face check with his body, and now Baron's been started up. And remember, they have the healing from this Soul to keep themselves topped up.
That Cannon Barrage has been used, but it's really offering nothing. The chains go wide from Denvoxney. Croxton does take a lot of damage from the barrel chain. There's a lot of crits available. That's going to be the end of that as Denvoxney once again caught out by the Tempered Fate. The bullet time, everything is layered down.
Okay, there a QSS would have been nice. I'll give you that one. Ryan Vayu going to chase down Paulson, looking for him. Lundorf's there, though, so have to be a little bit careful. But again, at this point, they have the Ocean Soul. They can brush off any poke they take, and these tanks are feeling almost unkillable right now. Singularity going to go straight through top, take down that inner tower, and work on the inhibitor.
I want to give massive props to Vayu, because consistently now he's finding a fantastic Tempered Fate onto Denvoxney, realizing he is the win condition for Vipers, shutting him down, and ultimately that has cost Soul for Vipers, and now it's cost Baron and part of their base. Looks like they're going to transfer over and take a second inhibitor in the bot side. Paulson's very over-eager here. He's going to use the Unleashed Power. The rest of the team going to step forward. There's going to be the cask thrown out already, but the end of days for Hidden, and once again, he's just going to be sacrificed for the team. Lundorf should be able to clear out this way for the help of Denvoxney, but they've still got these minions pushing in forward. The arrow is going to get thrown out by Denvoxney. You have to watch for the chains as it's coming off cooldown fairly soon. Lundorf does have a lot of damage here on this gangplank as he's going to throw out the chains. The fight looks to break out. Bebop looking for Rai, but Rai uses the cleanse as he gets scattered instantly.
Even with the healing from Ocean Soul, Singularity not wanting to overstay too much. They have a lot of gold in their pocket they would like to spend. And they get 2 inhibitors mid, the only one still available. A rough spot to be in. Elder Dragon in 2.5 minutes. Singularity can just play for that if they want to. I feel like they aren't going to give any space to this side of Vipers.
Yeah, Den's going to catch this bot wave. Paulson's going to catch the top wave. Lundorf building towards his Infinity Edge is his next item, but he's a long ways away from getting that. He's got 1,200 gold currently in his pocket, and he's going to need about another 1,000 before he can finish that off, so I feel like we might just see a last siege break out. And Lundorf will not have his Infinity Edge for that, as Scoot needs to be a little careful. Den may look for the chains here, but needs to find himself an opportunity. As Scoot jumps over the wall, Den, once again, is going to be able to dodge away this time as he now gets caught out of the Glacial Prison. Everybody's coming in. The cast gets used. Den's kiting for now. Scoot's getting the damage off, though, buying some space for his team. Hidden gets chunked out. Scatter the weak onto Scoot, but with the Ocean Soul, with it being a Sejuani, he's just too tanky, and Den Voxney consistently being CC'd, so no one can actually, so he can't put out that damage and no one will go down. They can heal up now as Den Voxney is just assassinated by Rai. And this should just be the game now. Without Den Voxney, the cannon barrage has been used. The towers are already weak from the earlier siege. And now Lundorf and Paulson caught in the wrong places. The bullet time will be enough to get himself a killing spree. That is the last turret falling. The Nexus has been left open and 33 minutes on the clock. Singularity, they come into the final week looking for blood, looking for revenge, and looking for their first place back in the standings. The Nexus goes down and Singularity take the win.
30 kills to 11, certainly a bloodbath. And I think the re-addition of Rai back on the roster from his time away last week, clearly showing them on their full form. Singularity not happy about the 0-2 week, and a convincing performance all round. Yes, there were windows where Lundorf made a fancy play, then Voxney had that nice team fight, but ultimately it was a consistent lead coming out from Singularity. And I think a pivotal aspect of that was Scoot. Scoot was tracking these objectives, steals away the early blue, then chaining the dragons together and the Herald, and it really felt like the back foot was on the side of Hidden.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to say. Now, we've seen a few weeks consistently coming out from Hidden where he has been the weak point for his team, and Den Voxney's normally been able to kind of pull it back late game, but versus a team like Team Singularity versus the likes of Rai, it gets harder and harder. And Paulson also kind of consistently getting caught regularly in that mid game, just kind of blew the game wide open for Singularity. So they were able to close out on these dragons and, you know, zone out and get control of areas.
Yeah, this definitely wasn't the best Vipers we've seen, but Singularity looking like they are very much on form. And with this win, they keep the race for first place alive. Now, this does mean they're still, even with this win, there is still actually potential for Dusty to catch up to them and make second. Tomorrow's match between Singularity and Dusty is going to be a pivotal one. So basically, if Dusty win today and then they win against Singularity tomorrow, they will be tied up against Singularity and there'll be 1-1 in their head-to-head. If Dusty lose today or they lose against Singularity tomorrow, then Singularity locks at least second place. But if Vipers lose to Nordvin, they can get in first. That's a lot of information, but basically those top 3 spots can very much change still despite that. And that's the thing, is that Singularity winning that keeps the race for first alive. Viper's spot isn't secure.
All Vipers want to do is win tomorrow and then they lock in first. That's what it really boils down to. If they lose tomorrow, then all these kind of scenarios get blown open.
But tomorrow they're against Nordvind, and we've seen from their form at the moment, they are looking like a strong force. They're currently 4th place in the league. Obviously, that can change today based on the rest of the games. But right now, Vipers can't exactly sit happy and be like, cool, we've got this.
Yeah, there's still a lot to play for here in the Nordic Champions, and we still have 2 more games coming up on today's show. So coming up after the break, it's going to be Hybrid versus Dusty. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you after the break.